Today we will be discussing the explanation and translation of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, Chapter 2, Text 46. All purposes that are served by the small pond can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karmakanda division of a Vedic literature are to encourage the gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with the Krishna is also mentioned in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. The living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed also in Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Chandala, Chandalas are normally called as the dog eaters, is situated on the highest platform of a self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kind of penances and sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literature many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of a sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals and the injunctions of the Vedantas and the Upanishads. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purpose of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of Lord as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakarasanananda Saraswati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of Lord like sentimentalists instead of studying the Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master found him to be a great fool, and thus he asked him to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in a Vedic wisdom, and the author and the knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna, and the highest Vedantic is a greater soul who takes a pleasure in chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism. Text 47, translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruit of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to the not doing your duty. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties refer to activities performed while one is in the mode of material nature. Capricious work means action without a sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duty. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he performs his prescribed duties without being attached to the results. One who is attached to the result to his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer of or sufferer of the results of such action. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into the three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work in terms of the spiritual injection is done without desire for results. As one has to do it, obligatory work is action, is the mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his priority right in regard of a prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the results. This disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead to one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the results. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is a cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation to Arjuna. Text 48, translation and explanation. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord, and because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process of called Krishna Consciousness. By Krishna Consciousness only can one give up the sense proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna, or the servant of the servant of the Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna Consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule of the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. Text 49, explanation. O Dhananjaya, rid yourself of all fruitive activities by devotional service and surrender fully to that consciousness. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained in Buddhi Yoga, means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work, just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for the work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continuously bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers don't know how to utilize the assets of riches, which they acquire by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all the energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like the misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. Text 50, translation. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions even in this life. Therefore strive for yoga, O Arjuna, which is the art of all work. Since the time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated the various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. One's ignorance can be removed by the instruction of Bhagavad-Gita, which teaches one to surrender to Lord Krishna in all aspects and become liberated from the chained victimization of action and reaction, birth after birth. Arjuna is therefore advised to act in Krishna consciousness, the purifying process of resultant action. Text 51, translation and explanation. The wise engaged in devotional service take refuge in the Lord and free themselves from the cycle of birth and death by renouncing the fruits of action in the material world. In this way, they can attain that state beyond all miseries. The liberated living entity seeks that place where there are no material miseries. In Bhagavatam it says, "For one who has accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Mukunda or the giver of Mukti. The ocean of material world is like the water contained in a calf hoof print, Parampadam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha is his goal, not the place where there is a danger in every step of life." Owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. Out of ignorance only, less intelligent persons try to adjust to the situation by fruitive activities, thinking that resultant actions will make them happy. They don't know that no kind of material body anywhere within the universe can give a life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and diseases, are present everywhere within the material world. But one who understands his real constitutional position is as the eternal servitor of the Lord, and thus know the position of a personality of the Godhead, engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Consequently, he becomes qualified to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, where there is neither material, miserable life, nor the influence of a time and death. To know one constitutional position means to know also the sublime position of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that the living entity position of the Lord's position are one of the same level is to be understood in darkness, and therefore unable to engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. He becomes a Lord himself, and thus paves the way for the repetition of birth and death. But one who understands that his position is to serve, transfer himself to the service of the Lord, at once become eligible for Vaikuntha. Service of the cause of the Lord is Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, or in plain words, devotional service to the Lord. That concludes the section, that concludes the text 51 explanation of chapter 2 Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Keep listening. Thank you.